What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video with your crew, because things are heating up in South Africa's political landscape again, and once more, Jacob Zuma is at the very center of the storm. This time, the call is coming from deep within the heart of traditional power, echoing across kraals, councils, and royal homesteads. Traditional leaders are now boldly demanding that the Umkhonto we Sizwe party appoint a new Secretary General, and not just anyone, but one of their own. Yes, you heard right. The guardians of South Africa's ancestral authority have spoken, and they are calling on Zuma, the patriarchal political tactician of the MK party, to elevate traditional leadership into the inner sanctum of political decision-making. They are no longer satisfied with being symbolic figureheads. They want representation at the core of the movement they believe speaks to the forgotten soul of the people, especially rural people, who remain loyal to the authority of kings, queens, chiefs and headmen. For months now, there's been growing discontent within MK party structures. From internal bickering to regional factions asserting their own agenda, many say the party needs a stabilizing force. Enter the traditional leaders, who argue that they are precisely what's missing. They say the soul of MK, with its pro-poor, grassroots posture, aligns perfectly with their historical mission to protect the land, the people, and the traditions of Africa. So why, they ask, should they be on the outside looking in? Behind the scenes, there's been intense lobbying. A delegation of senior traditional leaders, some even representing royal houses from KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape and Limpopo, have reportedly approached Zuma directly. In carefully worded but firm language, they are urging him to correct what they call a historical imbalance within the party's leadership structure. They believe now is the time to appoint a Secretary General who carries the wisdom, legitimacy, and traditional mandate of the people. Not just a career politician, but someone who lives the culture, walks with the ancestors, and governs with a blend of authority and humility that the modern political elite have long lost. But here's where things get juicy. Sources close to the MK party say Zuma is intrigued by the idea. Some even say he's leaning toward it. After all, he himself has always styled his politics with a traditional undertone, from his famous leopard skin regalia during cultural ceremonies to his enduring relationships with royal figures. If anyone understands the symbolic power of traditional authority, it's Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma. However, not everyone is clapping. There's been pushback from some in the MK party who fear that such a move could alienate the party's more urban, youth-driven base. They argue that while cultural heritage is important, a modern political party cannot operate like a royal council. They worry about accountability, transparency, and political agility in a rapidly evolving environment. To them, inserting a traditional leader into the Secretary General position may slow the party down or worse, open the door to factional patronage built on tribal lines. But the traditional leaders are unfazed. One senior Inkosi who spoke anonymously said, "They forget that rural people are the backbone of this country. When politicians are done making promises, it's us who explain to the people what is really going on. We mediate land disputes, prevent violence, and feed the hungry. We are more than ceremonial. We are the real power." It's not just rhetoric. There's a growing realization within the MK party that without solid rural backing, their national project could crumble. Traditional leaders still command fierce loyalty in many parts of the country. They can mobilize communities, influence votes, and create order in places where government institutions barely function. Appointing one of their own into such a critical position could signal that MK is not just a political machine, but a movement grounded in heritage and grassroots leadership. So who are the names being floated? While nothing official has been released, insiders suggest a short list is quietly circulating. Among the names are a senior chief from the ABA Themba Nation, a respected Zulu royal advisor with close ties to the KwaZulu-Natal House of Traditional Leadership, and even a traditional healer turned political activist from the Eastern Cape who has reportedly wowed Zuma in recent meetings. Still, there's complexity. South Africa's constitutional democracy does not always sit comfortably with traditional structures. Many critics argue that the blending of modern and customary governance needs clear boundaries. Some civil society organizations have already raised alarm bells, warning that elevating a traditional leader to such a strategic political role might be a slippery slope. They argue it could empower authoritarianism cloaked in cultural legitimacy, undermining democratic values and the separation of powers. But the counter-argument is equally forceful. Proponents say this is exactly the kind of change South Africa needs, something authentic, rooted, and unapologetically African. They say modern democracy, as it currently operates, has failed millions. Corruption is rampant. Service delivery is broken. And many voters feel disconnected from cold, careerist politicians who only show up during elections. A traditional leader, they argue, brings a different kind of credibility, one tied to the land, the ancestors, and an obligation that goes beyond party lines. As the MK party prepares for its next national conference, this issue will dominate the agenda. Already, regional branches are calling for urgent policy discussions on how to incorporate traditional leadership into the party structure. Youth leagues are split. Some see it as an exciting opportunity to reconnect with cultural roots, while others view it as a potential power grab by older elites who have no understanding of modern political challenges. And then there's Jacob Zuma, sitting at the crossroads of history once again. Will he heed the call of the traditional elders and rewrite the political script, or will he play it safe and stick with the usual suspects from the party machinery? One thing is certain, this is not a minor personnel decision. The person who holds the office of Secretary General wields immense influence, from managing daily operations to shaping national strategy and keeping the political engine running. It's a role that requires loyalty, wisdom, and vision. If Zuma does appoint a traditional leader, it will send shockwaves throughout the political landscape. The ANC will be forced to respond. So will the EFF, the DA, and everyone else watching MK's rise with a mixture of curiosity and concern. It could shift the conversation about leadership in South Africa in profound ways. For too long, traditional leadership has been treated as an afterthought in national politics. This may be the moment they finally claim their seat at the table, not as guests, but as power players. Stay tuned, because this story is only just beginning. The winds of change are blowing, and once again, Jacob Zuma stands at the eye of the storm. Will he crown a chief as kingmaker? Or will he bow to the modernists who say tradition has no place in politics? The next move could define not only the MK party, but the very nature of leadership in South Africa's evolving incredible journey.